Well, we had this interview booked today. It was going to be Fenella Beach, lovely background, but unfortunately the weather didn't play ball for us, so we played very kindly in the Houseman and David Killip. Blue badges is how I'd refer to it as, and this is, you know, tour guides in the Isle of Man, and it's much more than that, and it's fascinating to hear about this because you've got quite a few already on the, you know, in the system, but you're looking for some more to come along. But let's go back. I mean, what do the Blue Badge guys and girls over here do? Okay, the Blue Badge is a nationally recognised qualification for professional tour guides. You will find us in the Isle of Man, and it's also common throughout the United Kingdom. So someone coming from the UK would be familiar with what a Blue Badge guide was. So we are professional tour guides. In the Isle of Man context, the guides have been in existence since the early 1990s, and at the present time there are 22 of us. Some of them are what I would term politely old-timers who've been around for quite some time. Others, like myself, are rather more recently recruited. I qualified as a Blue Badge guide in 2017. You have to know quite a lot of things, I understand. It's quite a interesting development as you go through the process. It is. Essentially, as I think we're going to talk about shortly, we will be hoping to recruit some new trainees for a training course. Well, we're hoping to train a new cohort of Blue Badge guides. We will be able to train a maximum of 10, but we already have quite substantial interest, and I'm sure this interview and other publicity that we will do will generate further interest. What sort of person does it suit then? I mean, you need to be flexible or what? Absolutely anybody. Absolutely anybody. Members of the Guild, of course, there are a number who are full-time professional tour guides. We're all professional, but not necessarily full-time. Other people tend to work maybe in the summer months or work part-time. We do provide the hardcore for the visiting cruise ships. That's often when the demands are placed on the guides in terms of needing all of us to service the summer cruise ship market. But we do work all year round. But as to background, it really doesn't matter. The only thing I would mention is that the training is very, very comprehensive. And although it evolves as time goes by, because we want to ensure the training meets modern standards and best practice, essentially the training addresses two aspects. It provides you with a comprehensive knowledge and understanding of the Isle of Man, be that history, geology, constitutional issues, flora and fauna. It's very comprehensive. Environment, built environment, but it also, crucially, trains you to deliver that knowledge as a tour guide, because simply knowing the stuff is only part of the story. You have to be able to convey that to tourists in a knowledgeable way, but not in a dry way, in a way that's going to engage them, entertain. We've all been on our holidays when we've had great tour leaders and bad tour leaders. I'm sure we all know the ones we want to be. All great in the Isle of Man, Blue Badge guides. And you need quite a good memory, I'm guessing, then, to know all the facts. Or... Yeah, in terms of people who might be watching this and interested and think, wow, I'm quite interested in that, tell me more about the training. The training, the next training cohort will begin in October 2020 and continues through until the spring of 2022, when the candidates will be assessed and examined. However, we will be advertising that training course well before October next, October 20, because there will be a selection process during spring and summer to get people ready for the start line in October. It doesn't matter if you've not been a guide before. It doesn't matter if you've never thought of it and suddenly think, wow, I'd really like to do that. It doesn't matter what your age is, what your professional background is. I reckon you get a lot of out of this. You know, it's great fun. I really enjoy it. You get to meet very interesting people. You are always it's always refreshing because you meet new people every time you tour guide. They all have different interests. They may want to see all of our fantastic industrial archaeology. They may want to see old mine buildings, Laxey Wheel. The next person you meet wants to hear all about the Vikings, and the next person wants to take in the view from the top of Snaefell. Do they have to drive the coaches, or how does it work? We are present on coaches.
coaches for coach visits, whether they may be coaches with cruise passengers or not. Right. We can go in a rental car with someone who's hired a car. Some of our number are what are called driver guides, so they will drive the visitor in the guide's own vehicle. And we do walking tours. I do quite a lot of walking tours. A number of our members are qualified to do mountain walks, mountain guiding. I do a lot of walking tours around the towns of the island. The one, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe. The one thing I would mention for people who are interested in the training or applying for the training is that your background and your experience is absolutely fine. It really doesn't matter what you might have done before, but it would help to have at least a decent grounding and understanding of the Isle of Man. Yeah, sure. Whereas the training is very comprehensive, it covers a huge amount of ground and covers absolutely every aspect of being an effective tour guide. If you do know a bit about the history of the island,
you should have a passion, I'm guessing.
Absolutely have a passion for it. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't reel off a load of Viking kings, or you don't know who the great Stanley was, because you will find those things out. Yeah. But if you have at least a basic awareness, somewhere to start from.
Okay, so when and where will people be looking out? Is it online or?
Yeah, I'm sure we will put information about our impending recruitment on our new website. Mm-hmm. We will be going public with radio to encourage people to apply. And as I say, the course itself starts in October. At one time, when I trained, for example, there was a kind of separation between the learning and then the experience and the training to be a guide, which were effectively year 1, year 2. These days, the two are much more merged. So you will be learning about the built environment of the Isle of Man in lectures at the Isle of Man College, and then the weekend after that you might have the misfortune to meet me, and I'll be training you how you would do a guided walk around Laxey Wheel.
And does this suit all ages? I mean,
absolutely. In fact, I would encourage younger people to think about this. We would very much like the perspective of younger people. There are certainly members of the Guild. There are 22 of us who are qualified Blue Badge Guides in the Isle of Man, and there are certainly plenty who are younger than me, but there are some who are not. So at the younger age of the age spectrum would be encouraging to get a different take, and people who have experienced different things about the Isle of Man, growing up here at a time when, my growing up was long behind me. So that would be good. Diversity is the key.